So the Tesla stock rally appears to still be in full motion. Now in yesterday's video, we went over the delivery numbers for Q2 of 2023 and we saw that Tesla beat Wall Street's expectations once again, which caused Tesla stock to rally an additional 6% going into today's market. Now it's honestly scary to see how accurate I was with the percentage gain for Tesla, because in the previous video I mentioned, hey, when Tesla beats Wall Street's expectations, we're most likely going to see Tesla go up an additional 6%, and which is going to put us in a very specific range that I'm going to go ahead and cover later on or further in this video. However, I want to turn our attention to something else, and that is the fact that today Kentucky just recently mandated Tesla charging plugs for its state-backed charging stations. Now, Kentucky's plan went into effect on Friday, making it the first state to mandate Tesla's charging technology, although Texas and Washington have previously shared that they may do the same later on. Now, me personally, I have never been to Kentucky, although I have absolutely tried Kentucky's fried chicken, so perhaps I should definitely take a trip to Kentucky, because shout out to Kentucky for being the first state, which is going to cause a domino effect of other states doing the same thing, which is going to bring more federal dollars for Tesla. But we also had some additional great news for Tesla, with an analyst from Goldman Sachs, raising the price target for Tesla from $248 all the way up to $275. Now, although this is great news for Tesla, if you guys follow the channel or you're subscribed to the channel, then you guys know my opinion on these analysts. Honestly, I don't put too much salt on what they say, especially considering the fact that just a week ago, the same Goldman Sachs analyst raised the price target of Tesla from $185 all the way to $248, and now we're having it from $248 all the way up to $275, which just goes to show you how wrong Wall Street is for Tesla, because you're telling me that an analyst in the span of 2 weeks just randomly decided, hey, within these 2 weeks, I think Tesla's worth 50% more, right? You're raising the price target from $185 all the way up to $275 in just a span of 2 weeks. You're telling me out of nowhere you're seeing the value for Tesla. And so that's the reason why I don't put too much weight on what the analysts say, although this is still great news. But we also have to acknowledge that historically speaking, July is overall a great month for the stock market, as in the last 20 years, July has pretty much been up 15 times out of the last 20 years, accounting for a 75% success rate, which is definitely good. However, we have to also understand that, previous or historical performance is not indicative of the future performance. However, it's just good to know that historically speaking, July is a good month. Things go up like fireworks. Now, I want to go ahead and cover Tesla stock from a technical perspective and talk about some things in terms of the price action. However, before we even talk about that, right, I just want to talk about something that definitely bothers me in terms of, individuals who, think Tesla stock is garbage and that Tesla stock is just, overly speculated. How come people don't see the value in Tesla and they claim that Tesla is garbage, but no one ever talks about the NFTs? For example, in 2022, Justin Bieber bought this picture of a monkey for $1.3 million, and now today the same monkey is worth $59,000. And when you look into the overall Bored Ape collection, the overall entire collection is down 90% from its highs. And so to me, it's very clear to see that, NFTs, the whole wave of that was all speculative garbage. However, I can't really stand the fact that people think of the same when it comes to Tesla, when Tesla has way more intrinsic value and is actually paving the way for the future.
Now they're stuck in the past. This is the future.
But with that said, let's go ahead and talk about things from a technical perspective. So now that Tesla stock has recently gapped up due to the fundamentals of the company having great delivery numbers for Q2 of 2023, well, that puts us at an area where there's very little volume to price. Now, I say this very often on the channel, but it's really important to pay attention to what the volume profile is, right? Because when there's very little volume to price, whatever direction the stock is going, there's going to be a massive push in that direction, right? Because obviously when there's low volume relative to price, there's not a lot of battle between the bid and the ask. And so, if there's a lot of buying pressure, that pushes up the order books to move the stock severely high, rapidly, very quickly, and vice versa. If the trend is downwards, well, that pushes down the order books, right? So where are we at? Well, we're at this area where, hey, we're gapping up because of good fundamentals. Now we're approaching an area where there's little volume to price and we're trending upwards. So we could see Tesla hit the mid 350s and, definitely have this massive spike, especially that, hey, historically July is really good and we may have some catalyst events coming soon with the Cybertruck or some other events or just catalyst news where, maybe another state, adopting the supercharging network, or maybe we're going to hear Volkswagen come out and say, hey, we're adopting the supercharging network, right? So we have a lot of things lined up that pushes Tesla more likely to the 350 area, which is definitely something that we're not going to want to miss out. I mean, this has been a tremendous rally for Tesla stock. I mean, year to date, Tesla stock, it has done a phenomenal amount, and so you don't want to miss out, especially as we have more good stuff coming. However, guess what? Coming into, the 19th of this month, that's when we have, the earnings come out for Tesla. And that's something that we want to pay attention to because, of course, the narrative from the bear side is, hey, yeah, Tesla delivered a great amount of vehicles, but, are the, margins going to diminish simply because they had to do a lot of these price cuts, right? And so, obviously, margins are going to fall down a bit, but I think revenues are still going to be very solid for Tesla, right? So obviously we want to pay attention as we get closer to, the end of July. And then of course we know that, typically August and September are, historically bad months for the stock market. I mean, there's a multitude of different reasons. I mean, at that time there's, even less volume, and then we have just a lot of management funds, rebalancing their portfolios. And of course, just September is just a bad month, right? So, obviously we have to be cautious, right, as we move further into summer. But what I'm saying right now is things look very optimistic for Tesla. Now, real quick, I always have to say this in every video. You don't want to trade or invest based on someone else's opinion. And that even includes my opinion, right? I'm just a guy on YouTube that, yeah, I have a lot of solid predictions for Tesla that come about. But at the end of the day, you still have to do your own due diligence. Because what if one day I just say something that's completely wrong? I mean, it's not out of the ordinary that I am going to be wrong eventually, right? It's going to happen, right? And, I'm just trying to give you guys a warning that, yeah, things are looking good for Tesla, but we want to pay attention because, of course, we're approaching earnings season and we're getting closer to the summer. So I don't think, Tesla is, right away going to hit all-time highs again, but we're getting close, right? We're gonna possibly hit that 350 area, and then from there, we're gonna have to reevaluate the situation because, of course, we want to see how the earnings season is actually approached. Are we gonna see, this recession in earnings, right? Now, if we have good earnings, right, on top of everything overall in the market, well, that would be a great story for Tesla because that would, potentially put us closer to hitting all-time highs, which is, again, something you don't want to miss out on. Now, from the perspective of someone who invests in Tesla long-term, I don't plan on doing anything different with Tesla. Honestly, still looking for another area or opportunity to buy more. I still haven't bought more shares of Tesla. It's been very difficult considering the fact that it just keeps going up. And I generally like to buy when things go down because, that Warren Buffett famous quote, you want to be greedy when everyone's fearful and be fearful when everyone's greedy. And so it's very hard to be greedy because there's not a lot of fear. I mean, there's just a lot of optimism, right? So, for my long-term portfolio, I don't really plan on doing much for Tesla. I'm still holding it, and I'm very optimistic long-term for Tesla. But from a short-term trading account, I'm honestly going long on Tesla still too. I'm buying calls, in the short term, or I'm trading shares, whatever the case may be. Obviously, it changes day to day, and I really update that in the Push and Profit private group. Which, if you guys want access to the Push and Profit private group, make sure to check out the first link in the description below. This is the last day before the coupon code expires. It gets 65% off, where you have access to the video lesson library. You have all the videos I talk about when it comes to, what I look at when it comes to trading and investing. Also, you have access to the private group, as I mentioned, where every single day you get to hear or read what exactly is happening in the overall market and what, trades I'm looking to do. So definitely, take advantage of that code before it does expire. But pretty much, guys, I want to wrap it up here saying, hey, things are looking good for Tesla. With that being said, guys, make sure to subscribe. And before you go, make sure to watch this next video right over here where I go ahead and break down volume profile in a much deeper video. With that being said, guys, I'll see you guys on that next video. Take care.